Hello YouTube! I'm back with another lesson, and today's lesson is going to be Love Me Tender. So I'd like to play it for you first so you can hear what it's supposed to sound like, and then I'm going to run through and teach it to you. So let's see if we can pick it up where we left off from the last lesson. And so let me just play it. So that's what it sounds like, and it's very similar to Ode to Joy, and yet because it's a 4/4 kind of beat pattern. And let me show you. What you need to do is download from the internet, from the YouTube site, right below the video. You'll see the sheet music for Love Me Tender. That's what we're playing in this video, and what you can see is up towards the right-hand side, and I'm not going to talk about the C's and the D7s and the A's yet. I'll save that for the next video. But what we're looking at is, again, playing the notes, just like Ode to Joy. And what we have in this video is starting over here with the left-hand side. You can kind of see, let me get my finger in there. Actually, it's upside down, that's why. Over here, get this backwards here. Okay, there we go. We see it's a 4/4, which means there's going to be 4 beats per each one of the measures. And we have 4 notes that correspond with it. So we have a 0, 1, 0, 1, as you can see. And then in the next measure, we have a little bit of a pause. It's still 4 beats, but there's only 3 notes. So we have a 3, 2, 3, and then we have a space. And I put a little pause here so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Let's see, right here. Okay, oh, there we go, right over here. So, and then the next measure is a 4/4, and we get 4 beats. And then we have, this last one is an open note. It is a whole note, excuse me. It's not an open string. It's a whole note, and the whole note we hold for one 4 measure beat. So we hold that for 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you didn't notice in the beginning of the, before I start playing the song, I'm going to do something that you're going to find is going to be helpful, I hope, is to set the beat pattern. So to pluck a string at the pace that you would like to pluck the other strings, you know, as you're playing the song, and it kind of sets you off on the right sort of pace. And again, I don't really measure, I don't really worried about, in this particular video, I'm not really essentially worried about how fast you're playing this. You can play it as fast or as slow as you want. But the difference with this, and this is a good exercise because it gets us to practice counting the beats, and you're going to see in the next video why that is important. It's very important to be able to figure out what the song is supposed to sound like, because, you know, these songs are kind of simple. We know what the song is supposed to sound like, hopefully, if we've ever heard it before. Everyone's heard the Elvis Presley Love Me Tender, I hope. And another thing I might want to kind of, here, let me open this up a little bit so I can kind of see a little bit. I bought you might want to invest in one of these, and I was bringing it up here. It's a little music stand. Let me move my guitar out of the way. They're like, oh, I don't know, a little bottom piece here is just, you know, one of those little tripod-looking things, and it's, I don't know, maybe about 5, 6, maybe actually probably around like $20. It folds up. You can fold it up, put it in your bag, carry it with you. But it allows you to kind of look at the music while you're playing it. So kind of on the side of my video, I've got this little music stand up here. And it looks professional. Makes you look like a professional musician when you've got your music stand. And, well, you're a student and you're learning how to play the guitar, so you need the right equipment. Helps you actually play a lot better. So get one of those little music stands and print out the sheet music and save the sheet music, because what ends up happening is as you're going through and you're struggling, these particular last 2 songs, Ode to Joy and Love Me Tender, have been designed to, and they're not the full songs if you haven't noticed. In the next video, you're going to see me adding more notes to it to give you more of a full song. We're going to redo both of these songs, actually. We're going to redo Ode to Joy with a lot more notes and actually add the full song into it. And we're going to redo Love Me Tender. But this is a baby step to get you familiar with the beats. So I didn't write this, I only wrote it on the first line. I did not write it in the download. So when you download the song, which is going to be a PDF file from the YouTube site, you're not going to see my handwriting on it. It's going to be a full kind of sheet, which is unaltered. But it'll have the notes on there for you. You need to print it out. You need to put it on your music stand, and you're going to use it along with this video. So if you haven't done that yet, download it, get it ready to go, and so you can follow along with the video. And just to reiterate the point from the last video, your pinky goes on that pick guard. Your first 3 fingers is what we're going to play with. We're not going to play with the thumb today either. In the next video, we'll start playing with the thumb. But the pinky is going to go on the pick guard, and the first string is going to get the 3rd finger, second string is going to get the 2nd finger, first string is going to get on the 3rd string. So it looks like that. If you can see it in the video. I'll move my fingers around so they're not overlapping. So we got 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is how we're picking. We're plucking. Plucking. We're not really picking because we're not using a pick. We're plucking. And if you rest your thumb, as long as you don't touch very much with it, in a non-electric guitar, you don't have to worry about touching the strings. They're not going to have any type of side effect to them. But you can use the thumb to pluck, or you can rest it. It's not going to affect it because we're not actually playing with the upper 3 strings. We're only playing with the lower 3 strings in this song as well. In other songs, you're not going to be able to do that with, so it's probably not a good habit to get into. You can just rest this one out this way. And we want to practice, because this is a practice video, again, we want to practice good form, because good form is going to lead us to really nice playing. And it's going to get rid of some of the problems that a lot of people have, and they're basically just developed out of bad habits. So I'm going to kind of try and angle this video camera here so you can see my the fretboard on my guitar. There we go. I think I've got the fretboard in there quite nicely. I'm going to basically, that's good. I should probably move it over a little bit. Let's see. There we go. Move it. There we go. So you can kind of see this is same thing we looked at in the last video. Oh, there we go. This is nice and easy for you to see. So this is the part we're paying attention to. This is the part that is going to be the most. It's going to be something that you're going to be working with on the song. So in order to get the 4/4 beat in the beginning, I kind of went, or I may have gone, but it's nice to start out with the first string you're going to work with, and the first thing we're going to work with is the open 3rd string. If you're looking at your tab, you're looking at the notes, I'm just plucking this open 3rd string. So I've got 1, 2, 3, this string here. I'm going to plug it 4 times. I'm going to plug it 4 times because I want to get my pattern down. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I was going to go play it faster, love me tender, love me too, love me tender, love me too, I can go like this. If I do this, then when I start playing, I can start playing faster because I'm set to that tempo. So I'm going to play like that. So the first line of the song is the open 3rd string, and then we have the 2nd string 1st fret that we're going to depress, the second string 1st fret, and we're going to hit that one again with the 2nd finger, and this one. So this one's open. This is the 2nd finger. So I've got the basic 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could tap your foot. Some people like to tap their feet instead. It makes it a little easier, but I'm going to go 1, and I'm going to play the first measure for you. It's going to be the open 3rd, the 1st fret of the 2nd string, the open 2nd string, and then the 1st fret again on the 2nd string. So it goes, which is love me tender, whoops, love me tender. I don't know the words to the song, and I'm not going to attempt to sing it, but I know the love me tender part, or love me true maybe is the next one, I don't know. But we have 4 notes and 4 beats, and we can do it on the beats for the first measure. So here's the first measure one more time. I'm going to start out just going 1, 2, 3, 4. Love me tender. Or I can count 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the second only has 3 notes in it. So remember, there's a pause. It's 3 notes, but it's 4 beats per measure, which is what that is basically telling us. The top 4 is telling us there's 4 beats per measure. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. We got to wait another one. So we got the 4 at the end. So the second measure is the 2nd string 3rd fret, which is the one I'm depressing right now. The 3rd string 2nd fret, and I just left the first one on because I'm going to go back to it. So you have to sort of plan. Once you've learned the song, you can kind of plan ahead and leave your fingers planted, because you're going to go back. In this particular song, we're going to go back to it. So in order to do that easily without having to make as much movement, because what we're going to do is minimize the amount of movement, because the more you move, the more likely you're going to hit something accidentally, and that's what causes all of the misperfections that you hear. So the first two measures go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we start with the 3rd measure, which is going back to the 2nd string 1st fret with the 1st finger here on the 2nd fret, and then open, and then the 3rd string 2nd fret, and then the 2nd string open. So it goes like this. And that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice I pulled everything away because it's open. I could have left it down there because I'm going back. The next measure has me going back to this 2nd string 1st fret. So I could have just left it there, and if I had left it there, then I would have gone like this. Oops. I couldn't have left it there because it's open, you're right. So I'm right. So, well, you know, if you know you're going back to it, you could leave it there, but I usually make the mistake of actually leaving it depressed when I actually have to hit it open. So, and then you can accidentally just go, you know, and forget, and not necessarily, don't hit it in the right position, which is common, and it kind of changes the way the song sounds, but in our case, we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next measure has a 1. And this is the one I was talking about before, just to refresh your memory on this. And hopefully you have downloaded this and you're looking at the sheet music. You see we have that open notes there in the last measure, and there's only 1. And it's the 2nd string 1st fret. It's a whole note. I keep calling it open. It's really a whole note. But we have to hold it for the entire measure of 4 beats. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4 before we start in on the next line, on the 2nd line. So that first line, and I'm going to count out loud the numbers, and this is probably the last video I'm going to do that with, because it gets kind of ruins the song when you count the numbers out. But it's for illustrative purposes, to get used to this. I'm trying to hold this. Oh, there we go. I'm trying to hold the guitar as close as I can to the camera on the computer. Here we go. This is pretty good. All right, so here we go. Here is the first line of Love Me Tender. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's not on the music. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, or you could just start in on the song. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's that last measure, and then you know, you only know that because it's a whole note, and there's only 1 note in the entire measure, and you know it's 4 beats, so you know you have to go 1, 2, 3, 4. If you mess up the 4/4 kind of, if you mess up the 4 beats on the measure and you go 1 and you start with the next one, it's not going to sound like the same song. So if you play it, let's see if I can screw it up. Actually, let's see. let's see. Yeah, there we go. I played them all with and I skipped the 2 pauses. And it kind of sounds different. It doesn't sound right. So to make the song actually sound correct, you've got to get the beats per measure correct. So let's go to the second line. And the second line is very similar to the first line. Actually, it's the same as the first line. So it's just, the 2 lines are repeated. So you play the first line over again, which makes the song, again, another easy song. And I wouldn't spend too much time memorizing any song. Because if you get yourself one of these $15 music stands, and you put the music on there, you can know hundreds of songs, and be able to play hundreds of songs without memorizing the song. People who memorize the song only know 1 or 2 songs. Because it takes a lot of work to memorize it. Unless you've been playing for years and you've just played them so often, you know them. And when you're playing, especially when you're playing fingerstyle guitar, and we're going to see in the next video when we start stepping it up a little bit with a lot more notes per measure, we're going to see it goes from baby steps to a lot of notes. How are you going to remember all those notes? So you get a music stand, and you print the music out, and you put it on there. And these are just 1 sheets. So these are simple little things you can do at this point. Alright, so let's play the first line twice, because that's the first and the second line. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Let me play right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. My counting is messing me up. Alright, so the first 2 lines are the same. The third line switches it up a little bit. In fact, it's a pretty easy line. We have 3 open first strings. 1, 1, 2, 3. But we have a pause, 4, because remember there's always 4 per measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait. And then we can hit the next 4, which is going to be an open first, 3rd fret of the 2nd string, 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then back to the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then an open E again. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is how that line sounds. And then the last line is just the same line with a slight variation to it, where we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So counting, I'm going to try and count through the whole song. You can pause the video and go through this to practice it several times if you'd like. Or an alternative method would be to download the sheet music, print it out, put it on a music stand, and go through each one of the lines. It's not a bad idea to be familiar with this song as well as the last song, Ode to Joy. And don't think of this as learning the song, think of this as learning the technique at this point. Because as you'll see in the next video that I'm going to record, I'm going to compare different versions of the song and talk about different components that we haven't seen yet that go beyond just the 4/4 kind of concept. So this is a learning stage. So because most people, they pick up the guitar, they want to play a cool song. You know, they want to do it now. The problem is you do that and then you can only do that. And you can't really learn other new songs that easily because you have no idea what you're looking at. You're just going by ear or something. So, all right. So one more time through the song, and hopefully I'm going to get it correct as I kind of refer to my music over here. And I'm going to do the counting, and then this will be our last kind of a drill. And then in the next video, it'll be less drill-ish, more technique-ish, and then we'll move in steps. So. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Oops. 1. Let me start over again. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now you just heard me mess it up because I was rushing through it too fast, and I left out, and then I threw the timing off. And I threw the timing off because I forgot about that little pause, even though I wrote pause on my sheet. I don't know what you're looking at. It says pause here. And you can write that on your sheet too, actually. I wasn't paying attention, so. And don't be so hard on yourself. I think we are our worst critics, as they say. So let's just take it measure by measure, point by point. I'll stop at each one of the measures. The first measure sounds like this. Well, if you could do the 1, 2, 3, 4, and hopefully you're not counting. In fact, don't get in the practice of counting. I'm not in the practice of counting. The counting throws you off. Because normally you should be singing, or you should be quiet, perhaps, or who knows. Hopefully you're not reading out the numbers, and hopefully you're not counting past the first couple of songs. So, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next measure. 1, 2, 3, pause. There we go. And then the third one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then so in line number 2, which is actually just line number 1 over again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Pause, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 4. Then we have our different line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this song is actually a little bit simpler, I believe, than Ode to Joy, now that I've kind of looked at it a little bit longer. And it's a nice practice piece, so go ahead and learn. And there's only really, because the first 2 lines are the same, that's why I say I think it's a little easier, because if you're still struggling with Ode to Joy, you might want to try this one and move on to this one first, and then go back to Ode to Joy. You still want to learn Ode to Joy, because the next video is going to be Ode to Joy on steroids. It's going to be an improved version of it with the same notes you've already learned. But what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to apply 2. So we're going to have two strings up here being pressed simultaneously, and 2 strings being strummed. Because every time you press something up here, you're going to want to pluck it. Otherwise, there's no reason for pressing it if you're not going to play the string. Both of the songs that we've looked at so far have only 1 string at a time that you're depressing and 1 string that you're plucking. So we're going to move on in the next video to 2 strings. So 2 strings up here, 2 strings down here, and then we're actually going to go and move it to 3. And 3, it's usually 2 to 3 is about, in fact I think the next video will combine 2 and 3 together. 2 and 3 strings together is about all you're going to do for most of your songs. Otherwise you might as well just strum it if that's the case. Because the idea in concept is to pluck the strings, have the strings, have the sound vibrate, have the sound, in effect, and then pluck something else. So, you've got the sound of that one going on while you're hitting that one, or while you're hitting that one. And they all blend together as you play the song, especially when you start playing it at the correct tempos. So, anyway, I hope you found this video to be enlightening, and it's another practice video, so go ahead and practice away, and I will see you next time for a more advanced video. So don't rush it. Take your time, go through the videos, see if you can master at least step by step. The more you rush it, the less you're going to learn, and the less you're going to be prepared for when the pace does get stepped up. So. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time.